Hello, everybody. Welcome to The Between, a glimpse of Gossamer. My name is Steph. I use she, her pronouns, and I'll be your keeper for the evening. Uh, Quickly, I'd like to thank Stolen Fires for hosting the stream and to everyone who will be joining us tonight for their time. That said, if you would all please introduce yourselves, my lovely players.
Hey everyone, I'm Amy, she, her. I'm going to be portraying Richard Dick Dashing today. Looking forward to having all of you here.
Evening, everybody. I'm Ben Ravensdale. He, him. I'm going to be playing Paul Jaggard. Very much looking forward to having you.
Hello, everyone. I am Aaron, pronouns she, they, they. I will be portraying the factotum Hornby, pronouns she, her.
Hello, I'm Rachel. I'm Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere on the internet. And tonight I will be playing Neve the Selkie.
Excellent. Before we get started, some content warnings for the stream include murder, body horror, dark sexual themes, erotic sensuality, foul language, blasphemy, witchcraft, defiling graves and corpses. In addition to those, our currently active threats introduce hauntings, spiders, obsession with physical appearances, and manipulation. Let's have a recap of our last session, please.
That was the wrong document. I almost read the wrong thing. There we go. So we open with Hornby trying to get intimate with Ariel, but as she does so, she hears a sharp voice from behind her. It's Sure Shot, aka Dick Dashing, who seems strangely invigorated and is interested in an introduction. Hornby awkwardly tries to hide Ariel's wedding ring from his viewpoint, and Dick says he thinks she should leave. After a bit of awkwardness, Ariel takes her leave of the situation. Now alone, Dick questions Hornby's intentions, including emphasizing how much he values Hornby, or at least her service to him. He suggests she loosen up a bit, perhaps starting with his laces. Meanwhile, back at 18 St. James Street, both Call and Neve are there. Call notices Neve's been singing sweetly for the past few minutes, but not in any language that anyone recognizes. Call asks about the song, but Neve seems unaware that she was singing at all. Call then asks Neve if she learned anything interesting, and after a brief segue regarding the interesting aspects of tea and teacups, she mentions the phantom crying. As they speak, they see someone walking up, a man with a patchy beard. He gruffly greets them, and when he asks what they're doing, Neve is perhaps a little too honest, disturbing Harold, the man, when she says that she's waiting for a crying baby. He summons the police, who are ready to drag her off to Bedlam. It's up to Call to intervene, and he tries to convince the guards that his family friend is just a bit touched. Meanwhile, Shoreshot and Hornby, their assignation over, Hornby is interested in knowing where Dick gets all his money. Well, his family controls a vast financial empire, which is a wonderfully non-specific way of being like, where did your family get all their money? We just have lots of money.
He did specify shipping.
Oh, it's shipping. Okay. As Hornby pours him some tea, Richard apologizes for his earlier rudeness and is forgiven. Later on, Hornby assists Irma in the kitchens, striking up a conversation. Hornby learns that Irma was here under the previous owners, the Buckleys. She talks about various disturbing instances, including a vase somehow filled with blood. Cut to Shoreshot in a cemetery. A gruff old man greets him, wondering what has brought him here so late at night. Shoreshot admits he's here looking for ghosts, which the old man easily believes. But what gives Dick the right to disturb his dead? After trying to justify his existence, Dick offers to leave forever if the old man will answer a few questions. Back to Call and Neve. The Bobby considers the both of them, but decides that it isn't worth the trouble, as long as Call can keep his companion out of trouble and away from the house. At least while Harold is there. When the Bobbies leave, Call has Neve sit down on a safe set of steps. He then steps into the street and tries to feel his sense of the city. Meanwhile, Neve does her best to have his back while he's in a vulnerable state. As he's doing this, Hornby welcomes Mr. Beale home. He mumbles something about strangers outside wanting to hear a crying baby, but he's more interested in dinner. And where is his wife? Spoiler alert, she was drugged. Hornby leaves to go find Alice, but as she does so, she feels a presence manifest in the room with her and Harold. She sees a faint apparition, a young woman glowing blue. Back to Dick, questioning the gravekeeper about 18 St. James Street and anyone he might have known who died there. The gravekeeper does not know about that, but he does know the cook, Irma Thicket. She comes by here sometimes, and he once overheard her speaking with someone in a strange language, perhaps having an argument. He could not see Irma's interlocutor, which was somewhat helpful. After complimenting the cemetery, Dick takes his leave and heads back to the house on St. James Street. Meanwhile, Hornby speaks with Mr. Beale when he catches her trying to interact with the apparition. He believes her excuses and summons his son to dinner. Hornby goes to check on Mrs. Beale, and as she moves through the house, she notices every 17th step creaks. When she gets there, however, something is very, very wrong. It's time for everyone to confront the ghosts, as Call has his own moment with the apparition. Call flatters the spirit, but he also wants answers to some questions. The ghost speaks of a small locked door in the attic nursery, which somehow seems to lock itself. When Call asks how he can help the ghost move on, it speaks of receiving love letters in life, then vanishes. While Neve keeps an eye on him, she notices the master bedroom window looks more like a country house on fire. She can tell it's a vision, so she does not summon the fire brigade. Hornby watches Alice and her spectral eye. Only half of Alice's face smiles at her. She speaks in a haunting voice to Hornby before waking up and asking about supper. Down the street, Call notices Dick walking by and flags him down. Neve is happy to point out the fire she saw through the upper bedroom window, but it's gone now. Dick takes the opportunity to relate what he's learned to Sure Shot to Call, I believe, as neither he nor they share information, because neither Call nor Neve are currently welcome in the house. He emphasizes the room in the attic, the one that locks by itself. Sure Shot takes charge of the situation, sending Hornby up to the attic to open the window. When she does so, Sure Shot scales the wall. First, he takes Call up with him, who seems open to the physical contact. Open to it. Next, he brings Neve with him, slightly surprised with such short women being so unexpectedly heavy. He totally misses any allusion she makes to being Sealkin and goes for the vertical leap. As Dick brings her up, Call tries to entice Hornby into gossip. However, she isn't in the mood. I wonder why. Neve and Sure Shot flop into the room, Neve saying something about blood and sharks and solicitors. Call inspects the room and sees both a baby being rocked to sleep by a ghost and a small door in the room. The ghost has passively watched everything unfold. Call greets her, receiving a smile in return. Call then braves the door, finding a very old skull, in good condition, but clearly been there a while. Elsewhere, a scholar of Fey lore suddenly dies, which we're sure won't have any consequences.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Really quickly, let's check in on our hunters and the threats that we have. Currently, Sure Shot has the conditions pulled something and thoughts of pig gifts. Hornby has the run ragged condition. Call is currently entangled with the St. James Street ghost, and Neve is marked by Constance Head. For our threats, active, we have the St. James's Street Ghost, as well as the new one, the Spider Silk Seamstress, which I will go ahead and reintroduce here in a moment since I introduced it at the very tail end of last week. We have 10 clues for the St. James's Street Ghost, so if you would all like to answer a question, we can do that now.
Yes, please.
Yeah, let's do that.
So the questions that we have are: which part of the house is the ghost attached to? That's an optional question. Answering it allows you to have access to the Old Bones custom move, which I have placed in the reference tab. That move says that when you have the cosmic passage marked and touch, listen to, or otherwise attune to a building's architectural details, you roll with sensitivity. On a hit, a ghost shows up and will answer a single question you pose to it or perform a small task, your choice. Any answers it gives can be in the form of a clue, and on 10 plus as above, but the ghost won't ask for anything in return. The other question is the one that will resolve this threat. How can we get the ghost to pass on to the next world? Its opportunity is resolved the threat by performing a quieting ritual. As far as our clues go, we have the weeping bedrooms at night, a glass figurine of a tiger that falls off a shelf and shatters, a tightening around Hornby's throat in the attic, the ledger of Harold Beale containing strange expenses like Thought Whisperer, Dream Gifts, and Pig Gifts. There's a mirror cracked in a lace pattern, a porcelain vase filled with fresh blood, a heated argument between Irma Thicket and an unknown voice in a language unknown to everyone as well, a small locked door in the attic that always locks itself, and the ghost receiving love letters in the past, as well as looking into the master bedroom, Neve seeing the country home on fire instead of the Beale home.
Do we want to try to do both at +0 potentially?
Uh,
Because they are together, they are complexity 10 total.
I'd be cool with that. I feel like sorry, I'll stop there.
Rachel, Ben, how do you feel about doing +0 on both of them?
Sure, works for me.
It's a gamble because if we roll like shit, we're gonna all have to put masks on to bump it up. That's kind of the gamble here.
Or you don't.
Right, or we can just take the miss, for sure. Which I think if we miss the optional move, I might be willing to take a miss on that. Even though Old Bones is pretty cool thematically. Cool. Amy, you were gonna say something, so I'll let you go first. I have a pitch for the optional question already, but I don't know what you have going. So go ahead.
I was going to say that it's the attic.
Yep, same.
I've only got
100%.
2 clues to support that, but that's the way I vibe.
So I think I have 4, because the weaving bedrooms at night, that means all bedrooms, which includes the attic, because that is the child's bedroom. There's the small locked door in the attic. That feels obvious. The tiger figure, the glass figurine of the tiger, I believe, fell off in the attic. That's where we found that clue, I believe.
No, it was in a different room. It was.
Was it in a different room? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It was the master bedroom.
Master bedroom. Master bedroom. Floor, yeah.
Was that the porcelain vase then that was in the attic? I feel like there was another clue that I was gotten in the attic.
The tightening of your throat was at the attic.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so there we go.
Vase wasn't found anywhere. That was word of mouth from Irma. So you can say that she said that she found it in the attic.
Cool.
It's perfectly
Let's
fine.
do that then. That's 4 then right there for the optional.
Is everyone in agreement with that? I mean, I think it makes perfect sense.
Sure, works for me.
All right.
Who's going to roll it?
I think since Hornby suggested it, Hornby should do it.
All right, so it'll be my fault. Great, here we go.
Yep.
Oh, hell yeah, let's go. That's a 12.
Nice.
Damn. All right. Damn.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just make a note here in the thing that it was a 12 plus and in the attic. Here we go. Awesome. So yeah, it is that. On a 12 plus for answer a question, usually it would mean that the mastermind will reveal themselves while the hunters are pursuing the opportunity. Since it just unlocks a move, I'll say that it means that Titania will, or something about her will show up at some point during the session. Or potentially even for the resolution of the mystery, even if you don't get a 12 plus on that move.
I have not thought about the how do we get it to pass on. I think obviously the love letters figure in a big way, I think.
So my thought is, so Neve saw like this vision almost of a fire. So it's possible someone could have died in a fire in the house. And Harold, he's got the ledger with the strange dream gifts. It could be that the person who died was someone super important to him. And he's the person keeping the ghost hanging around by, like, continuing to make little offerings to it. And the ghost wants to move on and keeps trying to sever the connection.
Oh, but he won't let them. separate.
Right.
So that's what like the glass figurine falling off the shelf is about. It's lashing out.
Yeah.
Probably the mirror as well. Same thing.
So maybe the what the guy is feeding the ghost to kind of keep it around from time to time is these love letters. Maybe he's got the ghost's love letters and just every once in a while like gives her one of them.
Well, with the mirror, I think that's on the right track, but I think the important part of that clue is the lace pattern.
Okay.
And what was the reason he wanted the ghost to stick around?
Someone he loved died in a fire.
Okay.
I mean, and maybe that could be the argument that between Irma trying to argue like it's time to move on, bud.
And perhaps the lace pattern is like a particular. Well, this feels self-serving because I'm wearing a lace choker currently, but perhaps some kind of piece or some particular garment or accessory they wore.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, that tracks. I love it.
It's great.
Yeah. All right. Who would like to roll this one?
I think Neve was the one pitching most of it, so.
Oh, God.
All right, let's have that at a +0.
Okay.
Oh my God!
Shit.
What the fuck?
All right.
Nice.
So Chitani will show up during the session and at the resolution of that, I guess. Holy fuck.
Amazing.
All right. So
Oh.
what will the quieting ritual be, though?
I think we have to burn the love letters in the attic.
Ooh, I
like that. Yeah.
Excellent.
And
And because you all got a 12 plus, it means that the resolution will be pretty simple as well. There won't be like moves that need to be rolled for it.
Can I roll a move?
Well, I mean, you can, but there won't. They like if you do some shit that I'm like, okay, well, that. But for the most part, it won't be difficult, is what I'm saying.
Okay, well, so the reason I ask is because my severed from the sea move, I can attempt to repair my damaged.
Oh, that's perfectly fine. I was more meaning like you wouldn't have to do like day or night moves to get the ritual to go off because you got the 10 plus.
All right, so okay, well, so I will have to describe how I use the newfound information to repair my coat, but I can do that after the ritual.
Yes. Well, that is.
I just had the
Read that move out
thought.
for me, please.
Imagine using ashes from the love letters to help like smooth over stitches in your coat.
Oh, I was gonna use some of the lace.
Cool. Oh, that's good too.
That's also pretty cool. Yeah.
Orcade no los dos.
Yeah, that'll be during the dusk phase. We'll check back in on that. Yeah, no, that sounds pretty sick. I'm pretty pleased with those resolutions.
I cannot believe we rolled back-to-back 12 pluses. It makes me deeply nervous for the rest of our rolls.
Kind of insane. All right. So with that, let me go ahead and reintroduce the Spider Silk Seamstress so that then everyone is caught up. Among academics, Sir Richard Harlow was a well-regarded, if eccentric, scholar of folklore, known for his vivid storytelling and far-fetched theories. To Hargrave House, he was a trusted friend whose expertise in fey lore and magic proved invaluable on numerous occasions. The news of his sudden death comes as a shock, even more the manner of his passing. Sir Richard's body was found at his desk, strangely hollowed and preserved, wrapped head to toe in delicate silver thread. What's more, he was set to present a summary of his life's work at the Blue Feather Society, a private salon where curious minds explore the more esoteric subjects not discussed in formal institutions. Sir Richard was convinced that creatures of the Fey realm, or the other crowd, as he called them, had infiltrated London, and he supposedly had new evidence to support his theory. Miss Abigail Walker, chair of the Blue Feather Society, reveals that Sir Richard had been courting Hazel Beaumont, a mysterious seamstress whose magnificent fashion designs and apparently her company have proved irresistible to a number of London's artistic and academic elites. Each of her other suitors have also vanished, though no bodies had turned up. I asked this question to Neve. I asked, Hargrave House is familiar enough with Fey magic to recognize its manifestations in the manner of Sir Richard's death. How do you know that Miss Beaumont is no human but a dangerous Fey creature in disguise? And the answer was a sewing basket doesn't have normal supplies, no scissors or shears, but appropriated chimera talons, spools of thread that are actually spun spider silk, things along those lines. Now, what would everyone like to get done during this day phase? I might suggest requesting nostalgic scenes since all of you have at least one condition. But otherwise, what would everyone like to do?
Got two in mind. One is, yep, I'm down to clear a condition. I've got two of them, and Call is already invited Richard for a very obvious setup for a scene together. And second, I want to go to one of these fancy salons that Seth has just mentioned. That is literally where I can do my vulnerable moves.
I would also like to go to a fancy salon. I've never been.
Now, when we say fancy salon, what are we talking here?
The salon that they talk about weird shit.
Okay.
The Blue Feather Society.
Call's not as interested in. Well, actually,
it's kind of his whole vibe,
actually,
I think.
Yeah, if it's like, I was thinking it was more like of a mundane thing, but if there's a weird shit that goes on, then yeah, he's totally into that. And yeah, I'm totally cool with a scene between Call and Dick.
So I think unless requested, Hornby's gonna get up to some of her own shenanigans instead.
Actually, Hornby, if you wouldn't mind, I could use someone to hold the towels and the massage oil and things like that.
I see. If apparently I've been requested.
That could be a fun nostalgic move or vulnerable move. I just played public access today.
So outside of being deliberately tormented by Call, I think since I put on the mask and revealed some of Hornby's origins, she's going to reach out to some of the people from her old life because robbing rich people is what she used to do with them. And these are exactly the kind of people they'd be robbing.
Excellent. I think we should start with one of these vulnerable moves. I think since we already had at least an idea of where Call and Richards would go, let's start with that one. Please set the scene and then get to it. Let's role play.
Ben, if there's the obvious easy way to set the scene, which is just it's a salon and Richard's going to be doing his thing and socializing. The bigger question is, how do we work talking about like a massage into that, or would that be a separate thing?
So, I was muted, but Neve would also like to go to a fancy salon. She's never been.
Yeah, I did get that part, actually.
Okay.
Oh,
we're good.
Okay.
I mean, if we want to kind of do both at the same time, it could very easily be a lot of veiled innuendo between Call and Dick. But if we want it to be an actual scene just for the two of them, that's also fine. I'm open to whatever.
If it's
much
a
like Call.
vulnerable move, then let's see. It just says another hunter while one of you is engaged in your vice, but it is a little bit easier to manage if it's a like one-on-one scene.
Yeah, I would like that one to be a one-on-one. I have an idea of what that conversation is going to look like.
Cool. Works for me.
Where could they have that then? because I feel like the salon is not going to be a place you can do.
Well, I
Look,
imagine that.
that.
I
This is
imagine
your world as much as it is mine.
Hargrave House
so
probably has a room that we could use for that. So
I will say the definition of salon in Victorian London is very broad. You could very much have a salon where there are massages going on.
also fine.
What is Call's Vice?
Call's vice is sex with dark entities. So
Okay.
difficult to engage in that particular vice in this scenario, I think. So we'll probably have to default to yours.
Unless Richard Dashing counts as a dark
Figure it out.
entity.
I mean, he did
Not yet.
like jump up the side of the building. So
let's start the salon. We could start that as like a normal scene that has the group, and then we could maybe transition from there to the one-on-one between Call and Richard when that comes up, because I imagine it's going to be an exhausting situation for them, and we might get another condition during that. Who knows? How does that sound, everyone? Cool. All right. So, can I set the scene then? Are we good with that?
By all means, please do.
All right. So here we are. We've arrived at this salon. Comfortable couches set up around a fireplace, a portrait set up on the wall depicting someone's famed ancestor striking a victorious pose in a martial conflict, a lion skin rug thrown upon the ground, and shelves of books that are as erudite as they are dusty. Richard, of course, is taking center stage and telling a story. Yes, and you see, those Confederate soldiers, they thought they had me and my friends, caught, but that's when we turned the tables upon them. Richard was not invited to tell the story. Nevertheless, he does it, propping up this amazing story that could not possibly be historical given his age and when the Civil War took place. Nevertheless, relying upon the credulity of his audience and his charismatic oratory, he tells the tale, waving and swinging his golden pistol to highlight everything. I would like to do the tall tales.
Interesting. Well, let's see. What does that say? When you tell a story from back home that is wildly unbelievable in order to charm someone, this is a move that would effectively like dictate what Call feels toward you. So I'm gonna have to defer toward that.
And I'm not doing that one on Call. That is towards like the audience. Richard is looking to schmooze with these folks. I assume that there's like a group of us.
I thought this was the vulnerable move.
Not yet.
So
this is like the group scene conversation.
This is all of us going to the salon and kind of interacting at the salon before we splinter off into the individual vulnerable scene, I think is what Amy's intention was.
I will say that if Neve wants to do the vulnerable move, Neve has to ask Hornby. I cannot do the reverse.
Yeah.
I can only ever ask for Master Dashing for the vulnerable move.
But everyone else can ask Hornby for one.
Yes, I cannot be asked, but I cannot ask.
Sure, but you're not here, right?
I was requested to carry the oils and towels.
Oh, I thought that was a joke.
I can also not be there and just show up whenever the fuck I want as long as Richard is in the scene.
Okay.
That is what my move does.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is perfectly fine. You can all be there and that makes sense. I was a little confused as to what was going on, but I am on track now. Well, what's the story? You gotta tell us the story.
I was telling the story. It's about how we had these Confederate soldiers. You know, there were about 30 of them, and I only had, me and a couple of other people. Well, we found ourselves this narrow passageway that was very easy to guard, and as they charged at us with their bayonets, we simply took them down one by one. I, of course, using my pistol at every opportunity to strike down the oncoming hordes. And inevitably, they fell against us.
All right, go ahead and roll with presence.
I am going to check off my extravagantly beautiful gun to get advantage on this roll.
All right.
That is. Yes, it is. So on a 9, the folks fall for my charm or do as I wish. But since I did not get a 10 plus, the folks here might ask me for something in return. Steph, do you have like a character here that I can focus on? Is there like a key figure?
Um, this is your salon.
Okay.
You tell me.
Okay. And by the way, I'm assuming this is one like the salon that like that we were told like the spider lady goes to.
You're at the Blue Feather Society.
That's what I was thinking. Yes.
Okay. Let me. Is that? Surely it's. Huh. That is very strange. One of the few times that I've ever seen in a CFB game that a location directly mentioned in the summary isn't a location.
Oh,
So yes,
that is shocking.
Still you do it. Still you do it.
oh, okay then. Okay, so meeting at the Blue Feather Society, people talking about cultism and whatnot. I think I catch the attention of the person hosting this. I want to be clear, the Blue Feather, so I make sure I'm doing the continuity right. The Blue Feather Society, do they specify whose home it takes place at, or is it open to interpretation?
It just says a private salon.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to be wooing the person who owns the salon, the patron of it, who's
Miss
keeping
Abigail Walker.
Miss Abigail Walker. Yes.
Okay. Well, Abigail Walker has tightly bound hair and a stiff posture, as well as a severe expression over tiny spectacles. She is smoking a black briar calabash pipe.
All right. So do I want to charm her or or reveal the clue? I kind of want to charm the antagonist. That sounds like fun.
Wait, the
No.
chair of the Blue Feather Society is not Miss Beaumont.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry. Okay. All right, then I will go for a clue then.
Okay. Oh, 9. All right. We will get back to that. Hornby and Neve, what are you going to be doing with your vulnerable scene? Was that decided that you guys were going to do that after all?
That is up to Neve, obviously.
Yeah, I don't think that Neve and Hornby have built up the rapport to get to a vulnerable scene yet.
Well, that's part of what the vulnerable scene does is help build that rapport. Because you're having the vulnerable moments with one another.
Okay.
Similar to the nostalgic move in public access. In fact, they're kind of the same move.
Okay.
Almost exactly.
Well, so my thoughts on what Neve would do would be that she's tagging along with Dick and Call to the salon, and we'll just get into random trouble there while trying to ask questions about Okay. All right. All right. I don't know. Okay. What is Hornby's vice?
Casual trysts.
Okay.
I do. So if we don't take it literally, I do have a way to work that into a scene, especially if you're getting into trouble in high society. I think it's very easy for Hornby to turn the flirt on and charm over anyone Neve upsets with her common behavior, to phrase it how they are definitely going to phrase it.
All right, because my vice is public baths, and I'm looking at the vulnerable moves, and so one of us has to be engaged in a vice.
Yeah.
And I'm
So
not sure how public baths would.
Yeah, we would have to like exit scene and go elsewhere for yours, I think.
Right.
For
Splash
mine,
around
though,
in a puddle outside.
I mean, how close are we to the Thames?
Oh no, that's a bad bath.
Ew, that is a gross. You better get thoroughly cleansed after that bath.
There's mud flats. It's bad.
But yeah, I think if we have a loose interpretation of casual trysts, which I assume we do, it doesn't necessarily mean I need to be banging. It just means I need to, try to engage. So yeah, I think it's very easy for Neve to get in trouble and then Hornby bail her out in the process.
Or Neve could just interrupt Hornby at a very inopportune moment.
That does seem to be the trend of my vulnerable moves now. I'm fine with that as well. You have giving that it is your vulnerable move, because
Okay.
I cannot ask you. You tell me which you prefer, and I will do as necessary.
So I think it's probably better for the characters, and this is what I have in mind. For Neve has basically been like, Dick, 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 and Dick is just too busy being the center of attention to pay attention to her. And Call's doing his own thing. So she goes to find Hornby and is like, Hornby, I have to tell you something. Oh, what are you doing?
Actually, shortly I'll be doing Hornby's thing, but that's beside the point.
I'm being bullied tonight. So many ways.
Good times.
Yeah, I'm good with that. That sounds good.
Okay. I suppose, do you want to sort of set the scene on what Neve walks in on?
Sure. So Hornby has a preference, and it's definitely married women.
Hornby deserves to get bullied.
Oh,
And
we know that Victorian men were not satisfying their wives.
No, not
They
even a
had
little
to
bit.
help each other out.
Listen, Hornby targets those unsatisfied women for a reason. She's like the gross dudes that target divorcees in modern times. Except not the divorce part. Anyways, I am doing, you're right, Levi. I'm doing a public service. I'm helping
Not with
those poor
that
women.
attitude about the divorces.
Yes. Anyways, so I think given we're in upper crust and Hornby is a servant, it's probably a little more tricky, but this is not her first rodeo seducing someone of higher class. So in this salon, um, not necessarily the prettiest she looks for the loneliest woman here. And looks and checks the left hand of everyone here while she's here also, I should add. Um, so I think you probably stumble onto Hornby doting on this upper crust woman. A lot of unnecessary touching, like, oh, do you need some more of this? And um, just very probably not to Neve. It's actually that's just probably interesting because Neve probably doesn't clock what Hornby is up to. And I think when Neve comes into the scene, it's as Hornby's leaning into this woman and whispering like right next to her ear unnecessarily. Um,
Uh, all right. So I feel like they're probably in some sort of like, not necessarily a closet, but like a side room.
yes, for sure. It's not out in public because that wouldn't be decent.
Right.
Not that
Uh,
Hornby gives a fuck about being decent.
yeah. So there's a wafting scent of seawater that precedes Neve as she opens the door. Like, oh, Hornby, there you are. I can't get Paul or Dick's attention. What are you doing?
She stands up straight and is like, I was just attending to this lovely woman's needs. How can I help you, Miss Neve?
Oh, uh, he- hello, she says to the other woman.
I think she's just sitting there, kind of stunned at what's happening in the moment, and
Uh,
just waves very, very stiffly.
are you helping us?
Forgive my friend, my lady. I will be back post haste, I promise. And we can continue our conversation. Hornby walks over to Neve and like it's very much the mom grabbing the underarm of her child in the grocery store move. And like escorts you out of the side room back into the salon. Now, you were saying, Neve.
Use that room, because I don't think I want to. Was I interrupting something? There's a very weird feel in the air.
A bit, yes, but it's fine, Miss Neve. I'm happy to be of service. It's my job after all.
Oh, but she's not helping us?
Not us, no.
Oh, um, uh, oh, okay. Uh, so, Miss Beaumont, um, I think she's Faye.
Okay. This is a subject I'm not unfamiliar with.
I got a glimpse of her sewing basket, and it's like she's got spools of spider silk, and I don't think humans don't sew with spider silk.
I don't think it's possible, no.
Right. Well, I don't know what to do about it.
Did you notice anything else? What were the color of her eyes?
Oh, well, I mean, you can't always tell about eyes because my eyes are pretty dark.
Hornby cocks her head, confused.
I mean, sometimes Fae have really sparkly eyes, like purple or gold. But I mean, I don't know. Do you think are Selkies Fae? Am I Fae? I don't know.
I suppose there's an easy test, right?
Is there?
Cold iron.
Oh, I uh, but that will hurt.
I mean, it doesn't have to pierce you, you just have to touch it.
Do you have cold iron?
I think it'd be easy enough to acquire.
Wait, I was able to shapeshift before.
Hornby's gonna look around to make sure no one is eavesdropping on this conversation.
Neve was pretty sure that this was a conversation that should be had in private.
Okay, great. Hmm. I'm not sure if I should take you at face value or not, Miss Neve.
No, I'm Seal. I'm Sealkin.
I do remember you saying that the other evening, but
Yes.
could you perhaps show me?
No. And then she sort of indicates like the raggedy coat that she wears like all the time. Not until this is fixed.
Let's see. Well, I don't want to harm my associates, so let's avoid the cold iron test, shall we?
It would probably hurt my pelt, so yes.
I would not want to. She looks the coat hurt your pelt at all. Have you told anyone else about your deal?
Oh, well, it's not a deal because there's no exchange, but it's I suppose it's more a situation. But yes, no, that's how I got into Hargrave House. After everything happened, I was just sort of wandering, and then I found someone and explained who I was and what had happened to me, and he brought me to Hargrave House and said I could use my inherent skills, which I don't know what those are. Like, I'm really good at catching fish, but not with this mouth.
I'm sure that mouth can be used for other things that are equally useful.
Uh, well, yes, I'm talking to you and I'm telling you what I know about the fiance, Beaumont.
Uh, yes, I was going to ask some of my associates about Miss Beaumont myself until Master Jaggard asked for my assistance here in the salon. You can hear the tone shift immediately. The vibe is rancid immediately when he says that.
Uh, is everything okay?
Just, it's absolutely fine, Miss Need.
I think that's a great place to end that move. Let's check in on the move text really quickly. When you have an intimate moment with another hunter while one of you is engaged in your vice, you may clear an appropriate condition. If it is your vice, so Hornby, you get to either stumble on a clue, you get to tell me what it is, and it can't conclusively answer a question by itself, or you can invite Neve to ask you about your past. You must answer truthfully, but not necessarily completely.
I know as mechanically helpful as it is to get the clue.
No, fuck that, lore.
Yeah, no, the lore. I will invite Neve to ask Hornby a question about her past.
So, what's it like growing up human?
I imagine it's different for everyone, but I've had a storied life. I'm from Ireland originally, actually, so that's why I'm familiar with, I guess, things like you. Once I moved here, though, I fell in with a certain crowd and was successful for a while until I met Master Dashing.
So you had a pod of your own.
You could phrase that way, yes.
Do you miss them?
X.
Yes.
Why don't you go back?
Keep them safe.
I think
Oh,
that's where we'll cut it.
Dave is like, yes, I understand that.
Hornby, you can definitely clear Run Ragged. I think that makes perfect sense here.
Sounds good.
And Neve, I think Marked by a Constant's Head also makes sense to be cleared here because you're just not around for her to bug.
Sure. I mean, I don't mind keeping it, but sure.
If you want, you don't have to clear it. The
Like
move says you
her.
may.
I mean, I'll keep it because I like having tea with her. She's nice.
Excellent. Love that. All right. Call. What are you going to be doing as Dick is giving this grand speech to everyone?
A bit of a note that I think might be interesting to call. It feels like Dick has been uh trying to avoid talking to him, but it's really not clear why.
Trying to avoid talking to Call.
Yeah, he's like not been engaging him. He's been more focused upon the meeting. It could just be that, or it could be something else bothering him.
Okay. I think if that's the case, then Call is
Saying it.
Call is most likely to be just sort of hanging out in the background, just kind of observing, interacting here and there, but he's not seeking anything out at the moment. He's just seeing if something should find him, whether it be an interesting conversation or something else, great. But otherwise, he's just going with the vibes.
Let's have the information move with reason then.
Okay. Okay. So that's going to be an 8.
Excellent. All right. We're going to go ahead and take our first 10-minute break here. When we get back, we'll get back to the roles that we have floating and the rest of the day phase.
Have a good break, everybody.
Welcome back, everyone. So, we left off, we had 2 rows still up in the air. We're going to go back now to Dick Dashing. You got a 9 on Tall Tales, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at the move really quickly. Read it out for everyone watching. When you tell a story from back home that is wildly unbelievable, in order to charm someone, you roll with presence. On a hit, they fall for your charm and do as you wish, or reveal a clue, your choice. The choice was to reveal a clue. On a 10 plus, they won't ask for anything in return. On a 12 plus, they also give you a keepsake to remember them. So this means that you will get asked something in return as your complication here. And I think that as you're talking with, rather more to a crowd, but more specifically, like making eye contact, I would imagine, with Abigail. She looks and stands after your story finishes. And I think you see that as she's standing, she is wearing what can only be described as avant-garde, but it is incredibly distressing. Let's paint the scene. What about the dress of Abigail Walker is so distressing?
It's definitely the riot of colors on display. They're certainly eye-catching, but they are neon bright.
So to paint the scene, that's for everybody, correct?
I'm sorry, Amy. What was neon bright? My brain did a thing.
The colors on her dress.
Okay.
And yes, it is for everyone. And this will be your clue as well, is her being obsessed with this craze.
Lime green, hot pink.
The question is, what about her dress is distressing?
Yes.
Okay. The colors form a pattern where that when you're not looking right at them, has the gives the unsettling impression of something that is sort of reaching out from the dress, almost like a 3D pattern, but one that you have to like not be looking at, like a magic eye 3D pattern, which obviously was not a thing back then.
I will say that there's just something off about her corset. It's hard to figure out or put your finger on it, but that's not a totally human torso shape.
I think, given the corset was mentioned, the clasps is the wrong word, but um, the way it's fastened, the things it's fastened on, are polychromatic stones that are not known to any geologist.
She stands, and you make a note of this very strange dress that you're seeing her wear. And she says, "How interesting. Your tales are so fascinating."
Your dress is so remarkable. I'm glad to see I'm not the only person to stand out today.
She smiles, and when she does, you can't help but feel this feeling of almost
Sorry.
almost like prey being looked at, but not necessarily in a way that makes you think she wants to hurt you. And she says, I'd be more than happy to show you where I got it if you'd like to accompany me back to a more private area of the salon.
Oh, well, I do presently have other prearranged engagements.
She's more than welcome to join us.
Hmm. Oh, a call. Yes, yes. I believe we were going to talk about a thing. Yes, right?
We were.
Oh, good. Well, I wouldn't want anybody to interrupt that. I'm so sorry, Abigail. Later, please.
I'm going to give you the condition marked by Abigail Walker.
God damn it.
And for you, Call, as you were approaching Dick and Abigail, I think that as you were approaching and taking in the air of everything, looking around the entire place, I think you find that there is a trail of moths fluttering about. It's midday, and they seem drawn toward an open window. That is your clue. And now, if you two would please, let's set the scene for your vulnerable move. This is all you now.
Richard is going to walk off with Call looking for some place where the two of them can be alone. He's not thinking about what direction they're going. So
I imagine
he's
Call is
present.
fairly familiar with places like this, so is probably able to zero in on a likely location where we could find some privacy.
Okay, wonderful. We
Which
pop into a room. I guess it has like a divan in it that somebody could lie upon.
works for me. Positively divan, darling.
Richard, close the door. Thank you. That was quite what I expected out of that conversation. Although I am quite a hit society.
You would be surprised what some people find alluring in this world.
Yes, I suppose that's true. Richard gets awkwardly quiet.
Would you like to sit?
He remains quiet. There's a pause where it feels like he's going to say something. You see his lip curling slightly into that congenial expression he used back in the salon. It settles back down into a neutral expression. He looks for furniture. There's the divan. He sits in the middle of it.
So I think Call Call is going to move around to stand behind Richard and say, we had discussed a massage before. May I?
Right. We did discuss that, didn't we, last night? Um, I'm not sure I was entirely myself at that moment.
Perhaps you were more yourself than you usually allow yourself to be.
Richard's fingers twitch and he's blushing. I
Would you be more comfortable with Hornby at present?
Hornby is usually the only person who sees me in a delicate condition.
You don't need to be in a delicate position if you'd rather be in a position of assertiveness. That can certainly be arranged.
Um, Richard shakes his head. No, no, it's not. It's not like that. I don't feel very being myself around people is difficult. I
Call's going to move to
spend
sit on the divan next to you. Very close. Definitely like legs touching.
Richard allows it. I just when I'm out there, I have to present myself a certain way, and that's easy to do when I have a crowd. When I don't, it's harder, and when it's during the day,
I certainly don't want to make things hard for you while we're alone together.
no, no, it's not. He looks at Colin, says, "Look, what I do out there, the confident, assertive thing. I don't like keeping that up in private."
I understand. You seem to be saying that the way you are, the way you were out there, is not who you really are.
It's what they want to believe that I am, and it's a lot easier to be that than he holds up the gun and flips it around and says, "Do you know I've never actually shot somebody with a gun?"
I had my suspicions. You have a tendency to speak of the experience in the same way that those inexperienced in intimate liaisons speak of their conquests and their trysts.
I'm dealing with some matters. It makes it easier when I um, pretend. Um,
When I had my first encounter, I had only recently been introduced to my to the expectations that were laid upon me. And I found that the only way I could approach the situation and fulfill my duty was to convince myself that I was ready for it, was to present myself as if I was prepared. In essence, lying to myself, lying to yourself, in such a convincing manner that when the time comes, you are wholly that different person. But over the years, I've found that that is a losing gambit. You either lose yourself, making yourself what others expect you to be, what you think others want you to be, or you come to hate the true you.
Richard, looks thoughtful. He says, I there's the me I was growing up. There's the me I've been on my travels. And then there's what you saw last night. But there's more to it. Has
I should hope so.
Richard frowns and says, there are certain physical things that I'm dealing with that I don't know whether you'd be very comfortable with, which is why I only really show them to Hornby. So that's Richard starts to ramble in embarrassment, hinting at something that he's afraid to really dive into.
If Richard will allow it, Paul will take his one of his hands and just put it so that it's kind of resting between Call's hands, and then rest his Call will then rest his hands like on his knee. In a very there's vague overtures there, but it's mostly it's intended to be a supportive thing. And I'll say, everyone is hiding something. Many people are hiding monsters that we will never see given physical form. But their spirits, their souls, their inner being is terrifying. You, regardless of what physical condition you may feel is so objectionable, you have a luminosity about you that I find very appealing. And regardless of what you look like, regardless of what it is that you keep hidden, whenever you're ready, I know that it will be beautiful.
I think that's a
Richard.
great spot to cut it, actually.
Yeah.
Let's check in on the move. I believe that the device that's being used here is almost definitely Richard's just being, in the gossip salon, the gossip zone, the goss chair, perhaps even. And You can both clear a condition. You can, if you want, call clear the entangled with St. James Street Ghost. You also don't have to. I think pulled something makes the most sense to clear here, just because it's been a while as well. For you, sure shot. And as well, you get to decide whether or not you stumble onto a clue or if you want to invite Call to ask you something about your past.
Ooh, Call, go ahead and ask me about my past. I'm cool with that.
You said earlier that there was the you from your travels, the you from when you were growing up, and the you that I saw last night. Which is your favorite?
There was a. I didn't enjoy my childhood. There were good moments and a good time, but my father knew who I was better than I did. And in a fucked up kind of way, helped me to realize that. The me that was out there on my travels, it felt like a good version of me. Something like what you see now. I have problems looking back on it. That's when my problems began. I don't. Here's.
If I may, if that's your favorite version of you.
No, it's not. That's the thing. My favorite version of me is the one I saw when I looked in the vanity mirror last night when Hornby was helping me change. That version of me, there's something euphoric and liberating about it in a way that I've never had. Like, everything up to that point is a lie, and then I get to see that, and I also feel like I am trying so hard to keep myself in control and not be that person because I can't be that person, and that's maybe it's better to say what I'm becoming.
I have some experience with helping entities in transition from one state to the next.
Oh, really?
Something we can discuss maybe when you're feeling a bit more confident about it.
Richard nods quietly at that. Do you mind if I just sort of lean here for a bit?
So can you say that again?
Do you mind if I just sort of lean here for a bit?
Please. And Call will kind of like sit back and like, do you mean lean against Call or do you mean lean against on the divan?
Against Call.
Okay. Yeah, he'll sort of turn so that you can lean a little bit more comfortably, and he'll put his arm around you.
Excellent. I think that's where we'll leave that scene. Neve, what are you doing now?
Oh, So she has identified one Fae already. I think she's just gonna go prowling through the house or this salon, uh, to see if she can spot any others.
All right. I like this idea. First, let's say that you are in the gardens of the parlor here, of the salon. There are winding paths and secluded benches, a lush arboretum blooming with rare flowers, and a towering glass greenhouse. It's a wonder of modern architecture. Let's paint the scene, everyone. The gardens are a world of their own, a marvel to behold. As you pass beyond the walls, what gives you the sense that you've entered another realm?
Oh, it's definitely the scent of this place. Inside the salon, it's all perfumes, barely covered, sweat, and the smell of old, heavily polished wood. But outside in the garden, it's pungent with the smell of flowers, many of which are not native to the area, and therefore their bouquet unique.
Uh, I think that there is a boundary. So there is this wrought iron fence that sort of surrounds the building of the salon, but growing up against the fence is a really tall, thick hedge. So you've got the iron fence to represent, humanity, industry, the mundane, and then you've got this nice tall hedge to represent the things that are wilder. And once you cross that boundary, all of the sounds of this city just sort of melt away.
There is uh, a perpetual sort of almost glimmer in the air, whether it's cloudy or any, it doesn't matter during the daytime, that makes people feel like there are fireflies kind of lazily drifting about. But again, only kind of out of the corner of their eye. The second they turn to look at it, it goes away.
Man, these are all so good. I feel compelled to step my game up.
There's just a sign saying another world. That's it.
Another world, yeah. It's just very casual.
It's in Sharpie on a piece of cardboard.
Stepping past this point, you resign all rights to your true name. No. Um, I think there is an ethereal, not quite seen, a hum that it's not just audible, it's you feel it in your bones. The air itself thrums and hums with this eldritch quality, to use the word originally applied to the Fae.
Excellent. Let's have the information move with sensitivity, please, Neve. You are still muted.
Whoops. Yes, my sensitivity is a 2, so that makes my roll 10.
Excellent. Hornby, what are you doing as Neve goes off and starts exploring?
I think she considers reconvening with the lady she was speaking to earlier, but the moment's lost, and there's others always. So she will attend to her original plans. She will exit the salon and go to find some of her former associates.
Excellent. Who are you going to see?
You know what? She has a name. She's a real historical character. Hornby will go directly to the old boss of her gang, Diamond Annie.
Excellent. Where does she like to hang out usually these days?
Hasty question. So I know where the gang technically operated in real life, which is the Elephant and Castle district of London. I think Hornby, however, knows where Diamond Annie's proper residence is when she's not in prison. Uh, so she will go there. I think it's probably a flat that um, faces away from the Thames, because God knows you don't want your window to open towards it.
All right. I think I'm assuming that you knock on the door. When you open it, I think that you see that she is wearing a number of lovely pieces of jewelry and some very soft looking clothing around herself. And she says, Hornby, it has been a moment, hasn't it?
Annie, you know I prefer you called me by my old name when I was here. It's Maeve when I'm talking to you.
Well, all right, Maeve. To what do I owe this pleasure? Please do come in.
Hornby does her best to like drop the servant bit, but it's like ingrained at this point, I think. So it's this weird, awkward between of proper and former criminal, like are just at odds with each other. Like she is just completely awkward in her skin in front of Annie. Um, Listen, I'm looking into something, and I thought maybe you might know something. Do you know? Do you
The Muffin Man?
and the Muffin Man? I forgot her
Muffin
name.
Man.
Beaumont. What's her first name?
Liz on Drury Lane.
Hazel Beaumont.
Yes.
Are you familiar with Hazel Beaumont?
I'm going to have the information move with presence here, but first, let's paint the scene, everyone. There are a number of fineries and expensive looking objects that decorate this flat. There are also a number of very unusual things. How can we tell that the 40 Elephants gang didn't just steal tangible things, but also things from people's dreams?
Well, isn't it obvious? They've got 3 copies of a famous painting, but as Maeve would know, all of them are idealized in a way that could not possibly exist.
I think they have a couple copies of those, oh, like the Arthur Conan Doyle fairy photographs? But not just those photographs, other photographs, uh, dream entities.
There's an old, is it a phonograph? Is that what they're called? The old, there's an old phonograph that, if you were to play it, um, plays faint ethereal laughter from people's childhoods.
I'm gonna do a cut from one of my favorite comics. There is a bag of what looks like sand, but it shimmers in a way that lets you know it is not just sand.
Excellent. Let's have that information move. Presents, please.
Trying to type stuff. Okay, give me a second.
Oh, don't worry.
Kidding.
I didn't mean
I'm
to
just teasing.
rush you.
I'm just kidding. My presence is a big fat zero, apparently. Let's go.
That makes sense.
10.
Damn. All right, girl. I'm going to go ahead and resolve these two rolls, and then we'll go into the dusk phase. Neve, as you are out in this garden, looking about for signs of other fae, you see a midnight carriage, midday, bearing a green lantern, its window curtains drawn, and it passes by at breakneck speed right through the garden, but none of the plants are harmed. Hornby, what specifically did you ask? Remind me.
She asked if they were familiar with Ms. Beaumont.
That's right. She smiles and says, "Why, yes, I am, in fact. Her assistants, chambermaids, I'm not quite sure what they are to her. Anyhow, they delivered something for me. It's over here on my table." And she takes you over, and you see a bouquet of roses wrapped in a fine silk scarf, fresh but curiously preserved.
And admire Annie. She smirks.
She smirks back. And let's go ahead and go to our desk phase. Yes.
We're already at our desk stuff. Yes.
I know, right? It's a whole phase for it.
Teacher, I got such bad grades. Is there any way I can sorry.
The under desk phase?
Oh.
That's all the time if you're brave. All right. So, first of all, we have the quickening to look at.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's right, we do. Oh boy, that feels like that came back around so quickly.
I decided I wanted to do a full phase cycle this game. Sorry.
No need to apologize. I'm just shocked as Richard will be.
What are we doing?
Richard's rolling the quickening move.
Oh, gotcha.
That's gonna be a 6.
Yeah.
Real? Oh my.
Oh dear.
Can you please read off what that says on a miss?
You know I can, Steph.
Well, on a miss, you're going to lose control.
Yeah, and I
can
need to.
Either retire your character and tell me to put the cursed threat in play, or you can reveal your curse to another hunter and ask for their help controlling you in the night. If they agree, neither of you can take any action that would trigger a move during the upcoming night phase, though you will be narrating scenes showing how you're being controlled throughout the night. And during the dawn phase, you'll each be able to mark an XP. The option can only be chosen once. Or you can also mark a mask.
I might mark a mask on this one. This is
But the circumstances are so perfect.
Oh, for the revealing my curse?
Yeah.
Oh, to
call. I mean, that
to
would
call.
be.
Yeah.
How dare you?
This would be pretty good. But also, it could be later. It's up to you.
If Ben is fine with it, I'm okay with it. And I have to ask, so because I'm curious about this, if I do that reveal, can both of our characters still be in scenes that might involve the others? We just can't make rolls.
I'm not sure I fully understand the context or implications of this, but yes, I'm good with whatever.
So it would be Call is helping Dashing not go apeshit, basically.
Oh, okay. I'm keeping Dick under control.
Yes. Yes. You are wrangling that dick right now.
Okay.
God damn it.
I mean, we got to keep you from going over that edge. Like, you know, that's the key thing. So
yeah, you got to keep real close to that edge, but never go over it.
Damn
At
it.
least not yet, because it wouldn't be that satisfying.
All of you.
Yes, Call is 100% on board with this. Yes.
But yeah, so I think that depends on how you want to be effectively controlling your whatever is ended up going, because I don't know what the fuck's going on either. This is great for me. I'm excited too.
Yeah, so it's going to be fun.
So it depends on that. You won't be able to make any moves, either of you, which does mean that like the easiest way to make that happen, because a lot of moves trigger just by you kind of being in places at times, is to not be in places.
Oh, I think in
So like
the situation
being at
it'll
Hardgrave House probably is the easiest way to handle it, but that doesn't necessarily have to be how do you do it.
I have thoughts, so I tell you what, I can do the reveal and we'll see how that plays out. I think it'll play out in a way that'll be fun for this. Okay, cool.
All right.
So yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
This is for Steph technically. I can still use my move to interrupt this nonsense, right? Because it is a scene involving my employer.
Ooh. Yes.
Wonderful.
Yes, you can. And
Very...
you get to make moves, but I will say that you be careful not to put them in any positions where they would have to trigger moves to act.
Yeah. 100%.
Otherwise, yes, I fucking love it.
Cool.
So, logistical question. Do we want to take our second break now and leave the audience in suspense?
We will once we finish up our dusk phase. We will finish up our dusk phase here quickly, and then we'll go to our second break. With playbook moves, though, during the dusk phase, we also have Moonlight Upon the Waves. Are you going to activate that?
That's you, Neve.
Oh, uh, sorry. Yes, I was looking up the move. Um,
I can read it out. The darkness
oh,
is far safer for London's animal life, and you are no exception. During the dusk phase, you can invoke moonlight upon the waves. At the start of the night phase, you put on your pelt and take to London's waters in the form of a seal. While transformed, you can speak with watery creatures lurking in the city's rivers and canals, and you can take actions reasonable of a very intelligent and crafty seal. You get to choose 2 boons and 1 complication from the list below. During the dawn phase that follows, you are forced to return to your human form. Boons are: you find a clue, I will describe what it is; a keepsake, ask another hunter what it is, and add it to your personal quarters; uh, clear a physical condition, or you repair the pelt with the help of a relative. Can be chosen more than once, as in you can choose it twice with your 2 boon choices. The complications are: a side character notices you, take the condition marked by name of side character; a creature of the deep demands a favor in return for their help; you attract the attention of a danger; you gain the condition sea longing, cannot be chosen if you already have that condition.
so what is sea longing?
It's a condition.
Okay. Sure, let's do it. Um,
Heck yeah.
so
So go ahead and choose your 2 boons and your complication now. And I also have a question that I like to ask Selkies when the first time that they do this. So
Okay.
go ahead and tell us that first, though.
all right, I would like to find a clue, and ask a relative to help prepare the pelt. And I will take the condition sea longing.
Excellent. As for the
Unlike
question,
Hornby, who has the condition de-longing.
real,
How dare you?
real. Actually, it could still be sea longing, just the letter.
Well, no, yeah, I would.
Ayo. Yeah. And you don't have any boxes marked on severed from the sea yet, Rachel or Neve.
Oh, okay. I thought,
Yeah. Those are once you repair the pelt. Have you already done, did I say that you got stuff already for that?
yeah, because I was using the ritual that we used to.
Oh yeah. Never mind. I'm a fool.
Yeah, and then I was clicking the second one for the one I'm gonna get right now.
Yes. Oh no, that's oh yeah, okay, gotcha. Got it. Yep. Uh okay. My brain's caught up now.
No
So
worries.
your pelt is currently torn and ragged as if cut with a knife. How does that reflect in your seal form?
Oh, in her seal form? Probably. Um, eh, Basically, to invoke a modern metaphor, she probably looks like a seal that is tangled with one too many motorboats. Um, so just her fins are kind of shredded, and there's like scar tissue along her torso and the rest of her body, and maybe even like almost like bite marks in her tail.
Excellent. All right. Next up, I'm going to post a paint the scene question about Hargrave House. I think that it makes the most sense, given what we spent our day phase doing, if we take a look at Hargrave House's salon. What do you see in this room that makes it the most comfortable spot in the entire house?
I think I asked this last week. Where is the Hargrave House tab?
Oh, it's just on the Hunters tab. It's by the face tracker underneath it.
There it is. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What room was it? Oh, salon.
Yep.
Cool.
Well, for Neve, it's that she could look out in the bay windows to see water.
For Richard, it's that it's a large, comfortable room that's modern with a number of it, it's a it has more like avant-garde paintings in it. The walls are a nice shade. It just feels very open, warm, and welcoming in a way that his home, a similar place for him, was not growing up.
I think for Call, the salon has a there's a mural on one of the walls that is of a uh, sort of a twilight forest scene with a fair number of stars kind of painted to be visible in the skies above the trees. And Call often will sort of settle in the salon and just sort of get lost staring at the details of the mural.
I think there is a particular chaise that Hornby's fond of, and right next to it is her favorite brandy. And there's even, she uses it so often when she has time that there is a Hornby shaped depression in it.
Excellent. Now, what is everyone going to be doing during the upcoming night phase? We know what Call and Richard will be doing, but what about Hornby and Neve? There is the St. James Street ghost that can be resolved tonight. Otherwise, what's going on?
I think Hornby is going to go, her first thing she's going to do is go burn those love letters in the attic.
Uh, Neve will help.
That's going to be interesting because Neve's not allowed back there. I'm excited for that.
I'm sure Hornby could rustle up like a maid outfit and like a cap and like, okay, just pull this a little bit over your eyes.
All right. I don't think we have any Janus Mask prompts this time. Rolls were good. All right. The unseen that we'll be doing tonight is the Belfort murder. Charles and Nancy Belfort have been married for 10 years, and they absolutely despise each other. Tonight is the night when one of them will finally snap. The first question is a paint the scene. That one will be posed to everyone. The second question will be for Rachel. The third, or prompt, not question, the third prompt will be for Aaron, and the last one for Amy. This is on row 31 of the unseen tab. And with that, let's go ahead and take 10. Everyone can think about their scenes and their unseen prompts. We will be back at the 20 of the hour.
Have a good break, everybody.
Hello, welcome back, everyone, and welcome, Raiders. So, we have just finished up our dusk phase. We're going to move into the night, and I will remind you all that the day phase is for you all, but the night phase is for me, so I may disrupt your plans. Might also not. So, let's go to our unseen, the Belfort murder. Charles and Nancy Belfort have been married for 10 years, and they absolutely despise each other. Tonight is the night when one of them will finally snap. Paint the scene, everyone. As we look around the Belfort's home, how do we know their love for one another died long ago?
There's a letter on the office desk for Charles that is from his local church leader, priest, and it's a flowing letter describing how to take care of a failing marriage and how to counsel it, how to really just keep that going.
The places where the pictures are displayed looks a little odd because it's clear that there used to be larger pictures in the frames here, presumably wedding photos and the like, and they've been replaced with very anodyne landscapes and things like that.
There's another letter that is kind of tucked away on a sorry is tucked away in one of the writing desks, and it's not in the same handwriting as any of Charles's correspondence, but um, nonetheless, it is handwriting that's familiar to us. It's the same handwriting as that has been sent to the ghost at St. James House, and something that Charles has come across and always kept in the early days of their courtship and marriage as sort of inspiration for how he wanted to feel about and treat his wife. But it clearly has not been looked at in a very long time.
I think I think uh, Nancy's left hand. Um, Typically, if you wear a wedding band, you end up with the a different tan on that part of the finger. I think Nancy no longer has the differential in color, meaning she's been taking the wedding ring off.
Excellent. Sure shot and call. Let's start with you two.
Boy, okay.
I would love to know what this scene is looking like.
Ben, let's discuss that. I think my first thought would be the most obvious way this would happen is if they spent too much time at the salon just chilling out and relaxing, and Richard loses track of time.
Okay. Now, I, as Ben, don't really know what's about to happen here. So,
Okay.
So the quickening is the American sort of like werewolf move.
Okay, perfect.
The fail means that Sure Shot is going to go werewolf mode, except not necessarily werewolf.
I'll be morbing out.
Okay.
Yeah, morbing out, as it
Okay.
were.
So then,
you're going to be helping keep him under control. So
is it apparent that Dick is going to be going through this sort of change?
Well, Dick has to actually confess it to you and then ask you for help.
I see. Okay.
As per the move.
Perfect. Yeah, I mean, Call is absolutely happy to spend time with Dick. So,
All right. Okay, this one's gonna be okay. All right, so all right. So Richard has been leaning there, relaxing for a while, away from the sounds of the crowd. Nobody's come looking for us because whatever fascination Dick had for them, they don't really care now that he's out of sight. Uh, a uh, a clock chimes, and Richard leans up and away from Call. He turns to look back over the divan at the clock. Oh, oh shit.
is there a problem? Did you have another liaison to get to?
No, no, it's not that. So the thing I was talking about, it gets bad at night. Which is normally something where I go back to normally something I go back to the house so I can relax and Hornby can help me. Um I don't it's really late. I don't know if that's going to be an option. Um Richard places his hands on Call's shoulders. I don't think I'm going to be able to get myself back to the house safely. Not for myself, for others. Possibly you as well. I don't know. Um, I'm sorry. I am thinking and I'm prepared for this, and then the change happens, and it's okay. No. Um, Richard trembles nervously.
All right. Not to worry. Let's take this as it comes, shall we? And Call will get up and he'll lock the door to the salon. If it's already locked, he will also use a chair to block it, or not to the salon, but to this room that they're in. He'll use a chair to kind of um, block it closed, and then he'll come back and he'll sit kind of cross-legged on the floor, and he'll gesture for Dick to come kind of sit opposite him.
Richard slides off of the couch and goes to sit with Call. You you don't mind staying with me? Can you protect yourself? I get a little um a little odd. Like last night was not um
You become less human.
yeah. Um Usually I can hide it really well, but I have Hornby to help me adjust some things so that I look
Hornby is
as
not here right now.
yeah, okay.
I'm here. Focus on me.
Okay.
And with that,
I assure you that you are in good hands. And Call is going to begin setting up a little ritual.
excellent. Hornby and Neve, how are you both, emphasis on both, getting in to 18 St. James Street? It is not going to be whatever you narrate here, it'll be like you guys have full control over this scene because you rolled 12. So please, how do you enter 18 St. James's Street?
I figure that Hornby probably has a way to sneak Neve in through the servants.
Yeah, I think Hornby will provide a disguise for Neve, so that if questioned, she just looks like another servant. Hornby will just enter as per usual.
Well, actually, wait. No, Neve isn't going to be able to do that because there's seal. She's a seal right now.
Oh, that's
actually.
right. You went seal form.
So never mind. This is just Hornby right now.
Well, so I was under the impression that the dusk move happened at dusk, and now that it's night.
Oh no, you activate it in dusk, and it happens during the night phase.
All right, good luck, Hornby.
So, Hornby, I think give us a little bit of the scene then, as you get into the attic of 18 St. James Street.
So I think she will have set dinner and provided beverages, and she will dose the entire family this evening, so that she can, well, barring the child, the baby, don't need to dose the baby. She will dose the entire family this evening so that they will all sleep peacefully very soon, and she can go about her business unperturbed.
Excellent. Really quickly, we may go a little bit over time tonight. Is everyone all right with that if we do? Excellent. Excuse me. I think when you get to the attic, you see two people, and not just what you might, not necessarily the people you may expect. You do see the baby in the room, but that doesn't really count as a person yet, does it? You see what you can assume to be the 18 St. James Street ghost. But you also see a rail thin woman with stringy white hair, clad in tattered clothing. She has pale, unblemished skin. As the door opens, the two of them both turn to you, and this woman says, "Oh, the understudy. I wasn't expecting you. Welcome, welcome to the stage, little butterfly."
You have me at a disadvantage, madam.
No, I think this is great, personally. You see the ghost stand and walk to you. Neve, you are in the rivers, the waters of London, sealing it up. And I think the first thing that I would like to know, what kind of relative are you seeking the help of for your pelt this evening?
So I think Neve isn't sure exactly how this person is related to her, because it's not like seals are big on genealogy. Uh, but instead she seeks out someone that she knows and trusts and has swum with before, like a member of her pod. Someone she knows will be able to help.
Excellent. What does this other seal look like?
Oh, probably a older matron type seal. Her coat has gone very white and dappled, and like her whiskers are also graying. Um, but there's a lot of wisdom in her big round eyes.
Excellent. I think she swims up to you, having heard your call, whatever you put out, wherever it was. And
Just, seals do seal things, hang out on the
yeah,
rocks and just ort.
yeah, just orting about, uh, getting the ort out, as it were. And she approaches very eloquently in that way that only other animals know how to saunter about, not giving a shit, but also doing it with utmost grace. Hello, Eve. It's been a moment since I've seen you. You look worse for wear.
Oh, it's been a very long moment, Auntie. Oh, look what's happened. And she'll show like the scars and the marks and the everything.
Who did this to you? Did you get bit up by a shark?
Oh, no,
I didn't think
worse.
there were many out here.
Worse than a shark, Auntie. I should have listened every time you warned me about fishermen. I found one and he was charismatic enough to make me forget all the warnings. But I
Mm,
learned you're all right to my own sorrow.
yes, well, we all have to learn some way or another, don't we?
The only grace I
Um,
think I have is that he didn't destroy my coat completely. I think there might be a little bit of hope left in the garment. I just need a little bit of help.
Absolutely, dearie. What might you need from me?
Well, there's this one part, and I think if you just hold it together for me, I might be able to use this spider silk thread I stole to connect it.
Oh, where'd you get that? Didn't think they made any up in the surface.
Oh, there's a stronghold for Fae. They call it the Blue Feather Society. I'm trying to investigate it.
Huh, that's quite interesting. Maybe you'll have to take me sometime.
Oh, I will, once I know if it's safe enough or not. There's a man who died betrothed to a Fae, so I'm still a little bit
Oh,
wary when I visit.
yes, tricksy business that. Well, let's see your pelt then. Let's get that going. You don't mind if we stay in the water while we do it? I have a bit of better control of my motor skills.
Whatever is best for you, Auntie.
All right, good, good. The unseen. Rachel.
Oh goodness, I've got to switch mindsets completely. All right. I sketched out of my head how this would go. So narrate a scene in which Charles does something to get under Nancy's skin. Uh, well, it's dinner time, and so they start with the soup course of a mild consomme, and then the salad, and then the main. And every time, every dish that they're served, Charles has some criticism, and it's not just that he's like, "Oh, this soup is too salty." It's that, "Oh, my mother would never put this much salt in her soup." Or when the salad is served, he's like, the cook at college, she never sweetened her dressing this way." So it's not just that he's criticizing her cooking, he's criticizing her cooking by comparing her to other women.
Excellent. I hate it.
I would hate it too. That's how I thought of it.
Call and Dick. Let's pick right back up where we left off.
Ben, I believe you're describing a ritual that you were setting up.
Yeah. So Call. I mean, Call will take off the hats, and of course we have to get comfortable. So Call's gonna untie his collar, and he'll think about it for a moment, and then he'll take off one of his necklaces. I'm not going to actually take it off because it requires taking off my headphones, and that's just a pain in the ass right now. And he's going to lay that on the floor between them, with the pendant part of the necklace kind of pointing at Dick, or kind of closer to Dick. And he's going to say, "This is a token, I suppose, a favor from a man that I was with several years ago at this point. And he was always he always struck me as a fairly dangerous individual. But after our time together, he felt compelled to offer this to me as a token, that as a promise that I would always be safe from him. So I offer this gesture of safety to you tonight."
Yes. Do I put it on?
You can if you wish, or it can remain between us. It's simply creating a connection.
Uh, Richard picks it up. Yes, one moment. Richard is going to remove his cravat and slide off his jacket. I suppose I have to do that so that it fits better. As Richard slides it on, you might notice that he is much more of a slender build than you would have assumed based upon the clothing that he wears.
Hmm. Call definitely watches as you partially disrobe. He is not shy, nor is he um, embarrassed about that.
There is a Richard notices that and can't help but grin. Ah, well, you didn't run away. He laughs and there's a flicker of crimson across his eyes. It's nice to it's nice to be able to hang out like this. It's very pleasant, relaxing.
You are more than welcome to hang out as much as you wish, Dick.
Thanks. Um, Is your character wearing a similar necklace?
He's got two other necklaces on, but
Okay.
not one like that.
Okay. Richard leans forward and reaches out. He slides his fingernail beneath the necklaces, lifting them. These are very pretty. As he does so, you feel something akin to a dagger pressing into the soft palate beneath your chin.
Call leans into that a little bit, enough that there's a slight piercing of the skin, and he says, "The only thing beautiful enough to catch my eye tonight is you. I look
Richard,
forward to seeing everything you have to show me."
Richard
I think-
with draws his finger. Yes.
I think that's a great spot to cut. Hornby.
Uh,
Sorry, dude. That'll be all. That'll be it for the night, Cthulhu. That's all you
liar.
get.
You're a liar. You can't deny me seeing the monster. It's happening.
You're in the room here with both of these individuals. The woman says, "Oh, I suppose you would think that. Very well. I will soothe your aching brain in its quest for understanding. I met a queen once in a time and a place. It was a meadow, actually, not just a place. Not just a time. It was a year, I think. Someone called it 15 something. 15 Fork of Sits. I met a princess in a meadow during that time. A lovely princess. Her name was Elizabeth. I met her in a meadow once. I think it was a year, 15 Fork of Sits. And I almost took her, that princess in the meadow. But then I thought it would be more fun if I came back in another year, a different one. I don't know, maybe Fork of Knives, something like that. And instead, I talked to this princess. I met her in a meadow once, Princess Elizabeth. I talked with her, and I promised to visit her again when she would be queen. The ghost walks past this woman up to you, and when it moves its hand and touches your face, you feel a cold aching in your body, and you can see her for the first time. She is beautiful. Call was right. Help me. Please. Let her.
Hornby clutches the love letters in her hand and is like, "That's the plan, miss."
Neve, you're with your auntie, and I think the repairing of that portion of the pelt goes well enough. A little bit of pokes and prods here and there. And sorry, just distracted by Aaron's message in chat. Hate that. Love that, but hate that. uh, and I think during it, during the whole scene, she says, "Well, you know, your cousins miss you an awful lot. They don't see you much since you got out here, and I imagine it has to do with your pelt. Probably can't stray too far into the tides anymore without risking damaging it further. But
Aye, that's the truth of it. I miss them too.
yes, they're always asking about you. I'm glad that I got to see yous. Um,
Tell them
well,
that I'm doing well enough. If they ever want to come far enough inland, I'm staying at a place called Hargrave House.
oh well, I'm sure that maybe the eldest ones will, but well, the youngest ones are mostly the ones asking after you the most, and well, they can't really. They may have their fins, but they don't quite have their land legs.
Oh, well, no, that's fine. It's dangerous the farther inland you go.
Aye. Not a lot of land sometimes when you get in there. Or, well, land uh, for us to be, you know, not a lot of humans are that welcoming, I found. I'm glad that you've at least found yourself in a good crowd.
They're good enough. They're better than fishermen, at least.
Aye, fishermen are nasty. Trick you
Indeed.
in with all sorts of herrings, halibuts.
Never again.
Aye, better to just steal from them anyhow. But there was also a very strange thing that I saw when I was swimming up, though. Um, I'm not sure why it was down here, but well, here I'll come take you to it, and you can maybe take it back with you as if you think you need it. But it, you mentioned the spider silk, and well, come along, I'll show you.
All right, I'll follow.
The Belfort murder, Aaron.
I'm sorry?
Let's go.
Oh, the unseen.
Mhm. So, narrate a scene in which Nancy humiliates Charles. So, after Charles' critique of her dinner, she smiles and says, "You know what? Why don't you make your own food in the future? In fact," she stands up, "you're so displeased with it. Here." She knocks his plate and silverware and dishes on the floor. "Why don't you eat it off the ground? That's where people like you belong, on your knees, eating the filth. You know, given how often your tongue flaps, you'd think you'd be better at pleasing me. But I've found that even the lowest of society is better with their tongue than you are."
What a saucy echo in the night. Holy shit. Yeah. All right. Call and Richard.
Well, Richard pulls the finger back, trickling with blood, and puts it to their lips. They suckle on it thoughtfully as they use their other hand to uh, flick/open the braid ponytail, letting their long hair cascade around them.
Call will remove his vest and his shirt. He'll just say, "You have to forgive me. It's difficult to find a tailor who can replicate this particular design." As he removes his shirt, he is covered in scars, and these aren't like clean scars, like lines or whatever. Like there's scars that you would look at and wonder how the hell they happened, like what caused them. There are weird kind of like sort of puckered scars that almost look like they came from underneath his skin rather than going into his skin. Um, and there's on his left hand and arm there's a what looks kind of like a burn mark, almost like in that um, branching pattern that like electricity does when you do like the arc um, etchings or whatever they are. Like he's got a lot of these very strange old wounds.
Richard leans forward on hands and knees, eyes wide with fascination, the crimson dots swelling to consume their irises. Oh, who cut you? How did they cut you? I cut you like that? They place their claws gently against your skin. You can feel the pinpricks and the sensation of them sinking in. It's not. Oh, you describe how it feels.
They're not they're not wounds of violence. They are in the same way that my mortal lovers have given me tokens to remember them by, so have the beings that have visited me. And he kind of caresses each like a few of them in a way that implies that they're not negative associations for him. He just says, "I cherish each and every one of them, as I will cherish yours."
Richard grins and pushes Call back against his shoulders, saying, I want to see them. I want to meet them. Are they like me? Can I meet them? Are they inside of you? Can I pull them out of you?
Not any longer. Some of them have made themselves comfortable for stretches of time, but they've all moved on at this point. Should I have occasion to meet with one, I would be happy to bring you along and introduce you. But for now, let us focus on you.
Sure. Richard leans back. They're now sitting back, their hands pressed against the floor behind them, grinning. Uh, their skin looks significantly paler than you've seen it before. The makeup not quite covering the different pallor that they possess. They lean they're leaning in such a way that their feet are facing towards you. They kick a leg forward so that you can so their boots are in your face. One of the boots is in your face. Me, yes, me. You know, I really do sort of enjoy the attention. No, it's just Hornby who gives me attention, and they are really sweet. I am sorry, I'm talking a lot. When this happens, my brain just gets hard. There's a lot of things going on in there. It's not quiet inside of my brain right now. Can you help with my boots, please?
Of course, he'll whether they're lace up or whatever. He'll
Yeah.
start
Laces,
very
thank you. Yeah,
very deftly undoing them.
Hornby does very nice lace. It's tight.
I see. She knows her knot work.
Oh God, yes, she does. Why, just the other day in the garden. Wait, no,
Also,
that
regarding
yes.
regarding
Oh.
your regarding everything that you're saying,
Yes.
I encourage you
yes.
to make whatever noises seem natural to you.
Richard squeals in delight. Um, Kicking off his boots, you'll notice that Richard is also significantly shorter than you might have imagined. Through a honestly, it's mostly the boots. They add like 4 inches. He is 5'2".
Okay. Call is definitely a bit taller than that, but I mean they're both sitting cross-legged on the ground, so there's no difference really. um, yeah, I mean Call will, unless given a reason to explicitly kind of interject or say something, he's just going to stare and watch, not stare in like a kind of a weird like sideshow kind of way, but it's just very much in a fascination kind of way. And yeah, if you request any additional assistance with uh, further getting undressed, he will absolutely assist with that.
About halfway through getting
I think
undressed.
that we can cut back to Hornby now. Fact. I. Oh, what's. You good?
Sorry, it was unfocused, so I was trying to fix it.
Gotcha.
It apparently hated me putting lipstick on.
Real. You have the letters. What are you doing?
Well, it's not like she can burn a ghost as far as she knows. She'll pull out said letters, and in between the like very little space that's between her and the ghost, she'll just hold them casually and um, pull out a lighter and light them in her hands.
As the letters begin to go up in flames, you see the face on this ghostly woman twist and contort into what can only be described as both immense pain and pleasure all at once. And you see this other woman is now stood up and sat next to the corpse that's still there, hasn't started stinking, interestingly enough. The one with the donkey's head on it. She sits next to it, mimics its exact pose, and the house begins shaking a little bit, ever so slightly, as the letters burn. It's incredibly difficult to maintain. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, madam. Safe journeys.
Neve. Your auntie takes you to not the Thames itself, but right around that general area where a lot of the detritus will end up beginning to spill out into the greater rest of the sea. And she takes you down the bottom, the sea floor. Yeah, effectively, riverbed. And shuffles away some dirt. You see a sealed jar containing spider husks, bundled herbs, and a patch of human skin. And she says, now, it's not that often that you see, you know, that. Um,
Oh,
Most of the time, when you see skin, is it's on, someone or something. That's just sort of in there.
well, this is clearly some kind of magic. I'll take it back to my friends and see what they can make of it.
It's certainly some sort of fey working to be sure about it, but it's hard to say what kind. So many of them around these days, especially in London.
Well, I saw other spider things at the Blue Feather Salon. It could be related.
Aye, they could. They could indeed. Right, right. Well, how long how long do you think you're gonna be up with these Hargrave folks?
I don't know. At least until I get the rest of my coat fixed. I'm not sure how long that'll take.
Aye, aye. Have you given any thought to Jelly when it is? I mean, I know that I'd certainly not mind seeing you back with the pod, but well, you've always had an adventurous spirit. Are you gonna stay with them, you think?
I don't know. I know I always want this pod as a place that I can come back to.
No, and it always will be. You know that.
Well, that's good then. And I'll make sure that I always do.
Good. I don't think the little tykes would take too well the pups if they didn't get to see you again. They're one of their favourites.
You say that to everyone. But thank you for
Aye, but I
this.
mean it when I say it to you.
Oh, thank you, Auntie. I'll make sure I'll let you know when the Blue Feather place is safe for you to visit.
Aye, that'd be lovely. When I want to know about this tea thing that you mentioned.
Oh, it's delightful. I'll have to figure out how to bring some down here.
And let's go back to the unseen, the Belfort murder. Amy.
Time to talk about a murder. In the end, it was Nancy who snapped. Few too many complaints finally getting to her. One little last drink for her husband before he goes to bed for the evening. Something special just for him. He drinks it and begins coughing up blood immediately. She laughs as he begins to fall. Oh, don't like my cooking. Don't like anything I make. I'm sorry. Did I prepare the drink wrong? She watches as he falls to his knees and she pats him on the head condescendingly. Ah, that feels so much better. As he collapses, she's already grabbing him by the lapels. and dragging him. Tonight she'll be taking him out to the river. There'll be just one more piece of detritus spilling out into the sea.
Sure shot and call. Your last scene.
Okay. Richard, if allowed, leans forward and runs his claws right along through Call's chest. He doesn't hurt anything vital, but you feel it as he presses his fingers against your internal organs and then draws his fingers back against his own body, dripping it upon the clothes. Oh, well, I guess these are ruined now. Is this really okay? I'm sorry. Am I hurting you? It feels really good right now. Get back if you like.
Yeah, Call will. Call is probably very good at like matching vibes. So yeah, he'll not escalate, but he'll meet the general energy level in that regard. And I think before long he is going to he's going to start murmuring encouragement to show yourself to him. Yeah, I think that's how that's how I'll describe that. I feel like that's
Richard,
just PG enough for Twitch.
Listen, we can go PG-13. We just can't hit R.
Richard, flattered, does indeed strip. Naked and splattered in blood, they look maybe the most genuinely happy that Cole has ever seen them. They're the rid of their eyes consuming the sclera. They lean back, delighted, showing off their frame and saying, "You don't mind. You really don't care if it's so wonderful." Naked like this, the oddities of their body become more apparent. They are smallish, slender, impossibly perfect, unmarred in any kind of way. Fingers clawed, canines extended, features pale, very feminine or very feminine looking, and absolutely delighted.
I find that lovemaking has always been more satisfying when both or all participants are fully themselves. Is that where Hornby's gonna?
Hornby's gonna end that scene.
I'm asking for permission from the two people involved in the scene.
Please.
Please, yes, this would be a perfect time.
Perfect. I was waiting for a delicious moment, and this feels like it. So I think the door to this private area of the salon, it's not flung open so that it bangs, but it's still very obvious in its aggression.
Well, especially because I put a chair under the door handle, so in order to get in.
Then never mind. It is flung open aggressively, and Horny, despite the aggression needed to open that door while the chair is propped, Hornby walks in. She has a bottle labeled morphine and is drawing a needle out of it. Pushes it up, flicks it once, walks over to Richard and grabs the back of his hair and pulls his neck back to inject him.
Call would like to Call would like to intervene.
Please.
Well, actually, no, I can't make any moves, so never mind. I can't.
You can
I mean-
still narratively do things. I don't have.
I feel you could also like interject through roleplay, like, "Oh no, wait,
Okay,
stop."
That's fine as long as that's cool. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, please.
Yeah, in that case, Call will reach out and he will use his hand as a buffer for the needle, but very gently. It's not a violent thing, and he will say, "That's not necessary. I have things well in hand." As he's probably got one hand like on Richard's chest or other body part.
Hornby, it's so good to see you. Richard reaches out with one hand. I'm feeling fantastic, wonderful, amazing. We should all go somewhere. We should leave. Ooh, I know a wonderful place we can go. It's called Arcadia, and I've wanted to visit there for a while. I think that we should definitely go take a little trip soon. It calls to me tonight. In fact, the door's open, and I'm feeling very excited, more like myself. Can we go? Please say we can go, Hornby. Paul will be there too. It'll all be fine. He's lost a little bit of blood, but so have I. But it comes back quickly enough.
Paul's gonna lean in to Hornby and say, "Go to him. I'll be back in a moment." And then we'll step out into the hallway to make sure nobody else is around. And then he's gonna close the door and he's gonna put the chair back.
Wait,
Hornby.
so
Yes.
for the notes, do you close the door with the three of you in the room, or just the two
Yes.
of them? All three
No,
of
the
you.
three of
Okay.
us, yeah.
I feel so left out.
Neve's too innocent. Neve's too innocent for this.
I love that. I'm picturing Neve just suddenly like the window shatters and Neve's there in seal form. Yes.
I mean, she's partly wild animal.
Richard turns back to look at Hornby, tilting back, reclining. Don't I look wonderful? I mean, honestly, I think Call's blood looks better on me than some of the other outfits. I'm sorry that I left you out, Hornby, but you weren't around, and I didn't have you here to help me.
It's okay.
And I could have gone out there and I could have killed somebody and grabbed
Richard, it's all right.
Oh, sorry.
Nothing bad happened.
Oh,
we're here.
That's right. I'm fine.
We are both here, and we will take very, very good care of you.
Yes, we certainly will.
Neve. What are you doing for this very brief remainder of the night while you still have the ability to be in your seal form?
Auntie kept talking about the tots, so I think Neve is gonna go visit them and have a nice swim with them in the shallows. And that will be what creates her sea longing, because she's like, oh yeah, I really did miss this.
Let's paint the scene. Everyone, describe and name a seal pup.
Oh.
Where the fuck am I supposed to put this stuff?
This is nature documentary trap. Like, oh my god, fall in love with the little seal pups and then put them in peril.
The seal pup. What a beautiful creature.
Exactly.
One of them is named. One of them calls themselves Pebbles because they really like the cute little rock-like patterns over their body.
Everyone else dashes to behind the name. Quick, give me Irish and Finnish names.
I already know a fuck ton of those. I'm just the one taking notes on this bullshit that I just got thrown into.
Just put him in the side character spot on the London tab.
Yeah,
It's
that's
fine.
what I'm doing. I'm normally the one that inflicts Irish names on people.
I mean, Dalkas are also Finnish and Scottish.
Yes, true. It's that whole neck of the woods.
One of them is named Kiva, spelled Caoimhe, and she
Sorry,
is
Camoih.
Caoimhe, pronounced Kiva, because Irish. And Kiva is a very inquisitive, very, very clearly very intelligent little seal pup who is similarly very, very gentle when she's exploring the world and interacting with her siblings.
I'm gonna go with one named Saoirse, spelled Saorise. Now it's Saoirse. He's a bit standoffish and pretentious.
All of you here with your pretty creative names, and I've just got Pebbles. But you know, I love
Valid.
Pebbles.
You know, here's the thing, Amy. You dealt with my ass in your changeling game, and I used just an ass ton of Irish names on you.
Make one too, Rachel.
Oh, I have to pick one too.
Yeah.
Aurora.
Oh my fucking god.
What?
That is such a callback, Rachel.
Excellent. And with that, the camera fades back to the attic, 18 St. James's Street. There's a pile of ash on the floor and a very still, resolute finality in the air. We see the strange woman standing, now dancing with that donkey-headed corpse until she stops. She looks directly into the camera. She says, "Forgive me. You broke my chain of thought." Chains. Yes, chains. I once wove a chain of spider silk and sunbeams, then danced away the hours in meadows of the greenest grass thou'st ever tasted. But then, well, then I wore a different chain for some time. And with that, let's go ahead and go to our outro. Lovely, lovely players. Please, once again, let us know who you are, who you played, as well as any socials and other things you'd like to plug. Then please give us your stars and wishes.
I've been Amy, she, her. Today I played Richard Dick Dashing, aka Sure Shot. My stars and wishes. Stars. Okay. Ben. couple. One call going. I could use Hornby to hold the massage towel and oils. It's just oh.
It's just his way of trying to make sure Hornby was involved and included. That's all.
Hornby was definitely involved in it too. Oh man. Okay. I also love the just the way you handled like Richard, both the romancing during the general romancing the day and kind of make sure you fit his comfort level, and then towards the night helping him relax and be comfortable and be more like the person that they want to be, but in a way that felt more safe and euphoric to them. That's something which they have not had a chance to experience yet, and which they will be carrying forward.
Well, Call definitely wanted to make sure he handled Dick properly. So,
biggest one I've got for Neve, still this one from everyone else because I got to go first, is obviously the one where Hornby goes, "Can I see it?" No. Oh. Seth, it's kind of a toss-up between the unsettling princess conversation. You do a lot of these, like you've done like a couple of like these characters that talk in eccentric ways, and they're always delightfully unsettling. I don't know whether that's something. Yeah, okay, that's all you then. Perfect. I love it. The other one I had for you is kind of a mutual one for you and Rachel, and it's really the seal voices that you two did together. I did not know Neve was going to have a second voice, and you started doing it. I don't know if Steph knew you were going to do that either. And then Steph just straight up was like, "Oh yeah, here's an accent which kind of fits with that." Cthulhu, I mean, you know what it is, right? The on your knees scene, that obviously. I mean, what else could it possibly be, Cthulhu? Perfect delivery.
It's very hilarious when you call me Cthulhu when I use my real last name in these.
Aaron. That's it for me, folks. I think my biggest wish is following up on this when we're flipping back around to day. Um, Now that Richard's curse is out there, more incorporating that exploration of themselves into the scenes. That's something that I'm excited for.
hi everybody, Ben Ravensdale. I've been playing Call Jaggard, our resident vessel, and you can find me. I'm working on a couple of things. I've got a board game in the works called The Villains and Henchmen. You can just Google Ben Ravensdale or Ravensdale Publishing, Villains and Henchmen. Any of those, it'll come up. You can also find me on a YouTube channel, All on the Table RPGs, where I am running or GMing a superhero series using the very awesome Marvel Saga card game system. Kind of a blast from the past, but it's a great system. As far as Stars and Wishes, Stars, I mean, Rachel, I definitely liked learning more about Neve and kind of seeing some not behind the scenes, but kind of.
I love seeing Neve going on all of these like these adventures where she has this whole world that none of us are privy to.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're kind of watching Neve go and kind of reveal this stuff and do this stuff as additional members of the audience, which is kind of fun. So
yeah, I think the audience
doing that.
itself literally said that the Selkie's a slow burn many a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron, absolutely love seething simmer that Hornby has for the whole situation. I appreciate that very much, and I'm enjoying playing off that quite a bit. So,
Aaron, the hypodermic needle. Start for that. Just
I was like, okay, that escalated like from 0, but that's cool. And then obviously Amy, the interactions between Call and Dick were fantastic. Lots of subtext through trying to help with the transformation, which I think is the perfect way to do those kinds of scenes. So thank you for the opportunity to let Call be both supportive and slightly creepy, I guess, at the same time.
Yes, I loved your handling of it. Like, because I feel like Call is not, so he's trying to help Richard, and he's also like into it in a way which could be dangerous for Call's own health in the long term.
Yeah, there's a reason that I left Call's vitality at -1 for my character.
Oh boy.
He's not made very prudent decisions in the past, and I will say this: he is definitely interested in helping Dick for very selfish reasons, but maybe those will come to light later. But yeah, so those are. Oh, and then of course, Steph. Appreciate the constant jumping scenes, not letting it linger too long on any one, so that we, it feels kind of like a TV show where you get like that snippet of these characters and then cuts to. So yeah, very well done with the pacing and spotlight on that. Wishes. Kind of wish Hornby hadn't ghost blocked Call there, but it is what it is, and that's fine. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
Listen, we got to resolve the mystery. Or sorry, it's rat. Wrong game. We got to resolve those threats.
The ghost wasn't a threat. The ghost was a thirst at that point. Like everything was fine. Again, Call had that well in hand.
Call had a lot of stuff well in hand that Hornby wasn't okay with.
Call's got very busy, very big hands. So
a lot of dick in his hand recently.
yeah.
Damn it.
But yeah, that's me. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here and for watching. I think Aaron is next, alphabetically.
Oh, yes, it is me next, alphabetically. I'm very smart. Hi, everyone. I'm Aaron. Pronouns she, they, they. You can find me pretty much everywhere except Twitter as Great Cthulhu. I don't do as much social media as I should. It's bad brain time of the year. I'll be more active later. You can find me tomorrow here, same bat time, same bat channel, playing Dune Season 4. I did not watch the last. Oh wait, never mind. 2 weeks ago, I didn't watch yet, so it'll be a big surprise reading the recap for me. I'm looking forward to finding out what bullshit happened while I was absent.
Eloise got stoned on spice.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Cool. I will say I will not be here next week, unfortunately. / fortunately. I will be house sitting for some friends.
So Hornby won't be around, is what you're saying.
Yeah, you can get out to whatever fucking shenanigans you want to. Fucking shenanigans.
Imagining Hornby's like in her room and refuses to come out.
Deep in that closet. She's not. Anyways, so I will not be here next week to see all of you loyal people. I hope you all have a good time. I'm sad I'm missing, but stuff happens.
Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
Sure. You can all look forward to seeing me back after that, though. Yeah, I think that's it for my promo stuff. Let's do stars and wishes. Rachel, I loved the I loved having our vulnerable move. I especially love that you set me up for a very horny sentence, maybe not intentionally, where you're like, "Oh, my mouth's really good for eating fish," and I was like, "Well, here we go."
Yeah,
um,
that was
yeah, I
maybe on
appreciate.
purpose.
Okay. I enjoyed that whole interaction. Also, the full confession with that, like, for Neve, it was not a big deal. For Hornby, it was like, okay, I've just learned some big deal information. Just gonna put that in my brain for a while and let that simmer. And the implication that like you're not because of now that I've learned what Richard's whole monster thing is, you're apparently not the first Fae that Hornby has dealt with. Apparently there's two in the crew. Oh, that rhymed. For Ben, I loved the I loved the intentional fucking with Hornby. Like you knew that she was upset about your want of intimacy with Richard and played it up very well. It was a lot of fun. And that last scene where I was just like, can I fuck this up now? And then you didn't let me fuck it up. You're like, no, let's both help him together.
Teamwork.
Yeah, teamwork. Well done. For Amy, I loved the slow. This was I feel like it was deliberate because I've been bitching about not knowing what your monster is for weeks. Even before we started this game, I was bitching about it. The deliberate slow reveal was very good. It was yeah, it was that whole extended sequence was great. For Steph, your NPC work as always is amazing. Um, I particularly loved accent out of nowhere. Didn't know Steph had Irish in her. Would you like? No, never mind.
I'm already white
yes.
enough. I don't need any more in me.
Anyways, that was really great. Yeah, the accent the yeah NPC works amazing. I like them all. I also liked whatever question mark Fey entity was in the attic with Hornby. It was deeply weird and deeply Fey, and I loved it. As far as wishes, I don't think I have any actually. This was great. I wish I was here next week, but that's my wish. Feels like a lazy wish, but it's real. I wish I was able to play next week.
Can you imagine, Cthulhu, if it had been this week you missed and not the next one, and you didn't get to see the monster reveal, and we just didn't tell you?
Do you know how pissed I would fucking be? Do you have any idea how rage filled I can be as a human being?
Did we actually see what kind of monster Richard is?
Yeah, I mean, she's so sorry. He started talking about opening doors to Arcadia. Like, that's straight up Fae. Richard's
Yeah.
has some Fae in him somehow.
Okay.
He's a Fae, but not necessarily which Fae.
Yes, exactly.
But which is which?
But okay,
I mean,
I just want to make sure I didn't miss something. There's more to discover and see. So,
yeah.
by the way, I don't know if anybody could see it earlier, but that's the
So cool.
Pretty.
Oh, that's great.
I love it.
But yeah, so that would be me. Hello, I am Rachel. I've been playing Neve. We are both she, her. You can find me pretty much everywhere as Stolen Fires. I hang out on Blue Sky most often these days because the Burning Bird app is burning. Uh and you can also find me here tomorrow for Dune. Uh, Things have been happening. It should be good times. We were not able to play last week because, well, I personally blame Greg Abbott, uh, because there was a power outage at the GM's house. Um, Yes, and we are also having we're having the return of Fringeworthy on Monday, so that should be fun. We are also building up for a couple new shows, including Wraith 20th edition, run by someone who can reveal themselves
Yes.
as they wish.
Yes, I suppose I can chime in now with that. Probably should have mentioned that earlier when you're asking about things that are coming up. But yes, I will be.
Yeah, promo yourself, bitch.
If I must talk, yes, I will be running Wraith the Oblivion 20th Anniversary Edition. It is a hopeful game of wraiths fighting gentrification in Roosevelt Row in Phoenix, Arizona.
Nice. We're also gonna have a Tales from the Loop, run by our friend David, who has also done a lot of work with Mason. Both of these shows should be debuting in about March or so. Looking forward to all of them. Uh, yeah, and so my stars and wishes. My stars was I loved watching the escalation between Sure Shot and Call. That was really great. I also really loved the scene that I had with Hornby, where I got to be like, oh yeah, no, I think I'm Faye. I don't know. Do Selkies qualify as Faye? Anyway, I'm that. Um, that was fun. And I also liked the to sort of show off, for lack of a better term, her code switching when she talks to her family. So star for Steph for that one. As far as wishes, I would actually really like to have a conversation with Sure Shot about our uh different perspectives on being a shapeshifter. Because Neve can't, and Sure Shot has to.
Oh, I love that. Yes,
Yeah.
100%. Work that in.
And maybe one day, Neve will introduce you to the Cubs.
Oh.
So I gotta say, I guess this is a last minute wish. I don't know how Call, not necessarily wish, but I'm looking forward to the moment when Call, or when Neve kind of reveals the fact that she's a Selkie to Call, and like, I'm not sure what his thoughts on that are going to be.
I love that. This is probably part of the reason I played the Factotum though. I being the only non-supernatural, but also just besides Call the most chill about supernatural stuff. Just like, yeah, this is the thing that exists.
Did I roll any dice this session? I did. I got an 8. Okay.
Yes, you did. You did.
It's a good session. Thank you very much, Steph.
For sure. Did you have any more stars and wishes, Rachel?
Nope, those are my big ones.
All right. Well, I have been Steph. I use she, her pronouns, and I kept this game. You can find me as Steph Infection pretty much anywhere that I am to be found. You won't find me on Twitter or Reddit if you care about that, I guess. I don't know. I don't know why that came to mind. Those are the two that I don't use. And Facebook. So the three that I don't, anything that touches Facebook. So also, okay, you can find me places if you look hard enough.
Like a Fae would say.
There's a reason that I chose to run this mastermind. But yeah, I don't really have too much else going on. You can find me on Jason Cordova's YouTube channel playing as Topher Fontenot in public access Signals from the Other Side. Aside from that, you can find me here Thursdays, and I do this. As far as my stars and wishes go, I really, really loved Call how you sort of you did the steps of the rites of salt and smoke without actually hitting the specific trigger for the move, which I thought was an incredibly well done way of doing that. Because effectively you still sacrificed a personal token as you would for the move, but because it wasn't one of those dark entities specifically that's always circling around you, it didn't trigger the move, which still worked for the rest of the move. And I thought that was so cool, regardless of if it was intentional or not. That was such a cool skirting of that move text while still being able to get the flavor and the feeling of that move in. I thought that was really impressive. For Amy, I absolutely loved the unhingedness of Sure Shot during those scenes during the night phase, the slow unraveling of him, and then just I'm gonna poke my fingers in you and take your blood from my fingies. Yum. Like, I was screaming it in the chat, but that's Dio. This is Dio from JoJo's.
The world.
Oh,
Yeah, and I'm so excited. This is so silly, and I love it.
so
I
nervous.
really, it's so good. This is so great. For Aaron, I love that Hornby was such a, like, they really already have this feeling of being the sort of glue that's holding everything together. Like, she's the one off doing the shit that's got to get done when everyone else is too busy doing each other. And I love that for her, as much as I know she hates that for her. For Rachel, I absolutely loved the Irish accent out of nowhere, out of left field. I wasn't doing one, and then you did one, and I was like, shit, I gotta do one. And so then I did, and it was great, and I loved it. Yeah, I don't know, I grew up watching Boondock Saints, so I just did Irish accents a lot because I liked the movie. So I'm like, well, this is one skill that I guess I can use now. It was really just so incredible. I love this session. Thank you all very much for also being willing to go a little bit later. I'm sorry that it was so much later at this point, but it was really great. And
I don't think anyone's going to complain, Steph. We had a lot of fun, I think.
good. But yeah, as far as wishes go, I'm very excited to see more of the seamstress. I'm also excited to introduce the next threat. I have 2 ideas that I am flipping between right now, and I'm excited to figure out which one I land on next week. Yeah, that is it for me. Thank you, everyone, so very, very much for coming and watching, and thank you, my lovely players, for playing.
Thank you for running.
Anytime. Specifically this time.